Hello everyone and welcome to this latest video recording as part of the Tech Partner Programme here at RICS. My name is Andrew Knight and I've been with the organisation for over 12 years now, and I work within the knowledge and practice part of the business, looking at the impact of data and technology right across the built and natural environment. And with over 110,000 members working worldwide, right across the property life cycle, working in infrastructure, in commercial property and residential property and alternative assets and land itself, there's a huge opportunity for data and tech to have a really profound and valuable impact on the sector. And I'm really glad today to have Trevor Miles joining me from R8tech. So welcome to the call, Trevor.
Morning, Andrew. Great to be with you this morning.
Pleasure. And it's always nice to start with a bit of a backstory. It'd be great to hear about your background and the origin story of R8tech, actually, Trevor.
Yes, so my background actually is in chartered surveying. I worked with one of the predecessor companies for CBRE for about 7 years, and then I decided to try and spread my wings a bit and went into the dark world of management consultancy, but was able to continue working with property and built environment and getting involved with corporate real estate management, which was just becoming a thing at that time, and had some fantastic assignments there. I was working with PwC, and then that got bought. The bit of PwC I was in got bought by IBM, so I found this tech company. I'd always been interested in tech and not really had the opportunity to get directly hands-on with it. So that was a perfect opportunity because IBM started buying some of the software platforms that were active in that space at the time, and roll on another few years. And I had some family circumstances which meant that I had to step out of working for a little while to support my parents. And I then started getting phone calls from prop tech companies saying, could you help us? That was basically how I got into prop tech.
And what's the kind of background to R8tech itself? How did they start?
Yes, might be worth just putting a screen share up now.
Yeah, sure.
So that you can see that. So we've been basically started in 2017, so almost 6 years now. Headquartered in Tallinn, Estonia, which is the sort of Silicon Valley of Eastern Europe. We're active in the countries shown green in Europe there, and beginning to be active in a number of other countries beyond, which is quite exciting. We have a team in Tallinn in the headquarters office, which is sort of made up of both BMS experts, HVAC experts, and AI and machine learning people, as well as the normal functions that you'd expect. And then we have a number of area managers. I'm one of those who cover the individual countries that we're active in, and usually it's a one manager to one country model.
Indeed. And how would you summarize the kind of technology that R8tech actually offers? What's the fundamental sort of offering there from a data and tech perspective?
Yes, so if I could basically just share another slide with you, and advance that slide. So I've got to stop sharing to do that. Where's that? Right, and now I've got to go back here. And I've got to get back to the meeting. And that. And show the screen. And are we back? Has the screen come back up, Andrew?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, if you want to press the sort of the presentation mode one, we'll get the slide in full.
Okay, lovely, thank you. Good. Okay. So in terms of how it works, if you imagine the building being the sort of tower in the middle of the bubble on the left-hand side of the screen, with the building management system sitting next to it, and basically our technology is it's hardware free, so you don't need to pay anything for hardware. It's just a subscription service, Google-like service, software as a service. And what we do is we make a secure remote connection to the building management system in the building. Works best with ones that have been either installed or upgraded within the last 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically do some learning about the building, obviously we look at the HVAC equipment and create a sort of digital twin of it. We're able to interrogate it using the building management system viewer. And we then understand how the condition of all the equipment that's connected to it, and how it operates, how it's operated in different guises in the past.
And sorry to
Hmm.
interrupt. I mean, what sort of buildings are we talking about here? Is it purely commercial real estate, or is there a different sort of broad spectrum of buildings you can optimize in this way?
Yeah, a wide range of buildings. So it covers everything from offices, shopping centres. I think is our major is the one where we've got more than anything else. But we've got a lot of offices. We've got quite a few hotels, and then we've got a number of other types of buildings. So we've got university buildings. We've got some other educational type buildings. I think even a kindergarten is on the platform. So yes, a good range of buildings.
And it sounds, because of that there's obviously a wide range of users there in terms of educational establishments and obviously commercial asset owners and operators, and so it sounds like a kind of fairly wide range of stakeholders.
Yes, it's applicable in a lot of applications. The only one that we don't promote it for is industrial type applications, because they tend to just be a large air blower or something like that in the building, and there's less you can do to improve the energy consumption in that case. So we don't do those.
And what sort of kind of results are you seeing? Because obviously people are very, keen to understand that, the return on investment when they're investing in any kind of property technology. So what kind of results are you seeing across these obviously quite different property types?
Yes, we're seeing quite some very very good results at the moment. So on average, we're saving 24% currently of the total energy on retail shopping centres. 22%, I believe, on office buildings, and then for hotels, it's 18%. So it's a bit less that we can control within a hotel. So that's why. But those are the averages, and obviously we've got some higher figures and some lower figures depending on the specifics of the individual buildings.
Indeed, and I can see obviously on the right-hand side of the slide we're looking at the importance of the kind of reporting side of your platform. What sort of in addition to what we can see on the screen, what's the kind of reporting capability for clients who use the platform?
The reporting capability is actually one of the greatest strengths of the platform. It's got a very strong dashboard, very intuitive, and very high level of being able to drill down, so that you can drill down into every single space in the building, every single piece of equipment in the building, and see at any one time what is going on. So it's like a clear pane of glass really into the operation of the building's HVAC equipment.
And one thing we always often talk about is the fact that in many of the kind of solutions that you're offering, and in other parts of prop tech, there's still, or rather there is emerging a quite common usage of artificial intelligence as part of the kind of solution. Is that something you use? And if so, what's the kind of the ability to really kind of, it's perhaps a harsh way of putting it, but to trust what that AI is doing when it's obviously there in the background, making decisions, looking at data? Do you use AI, and you know, is it something that we can really trust and understand how it's working?
Yes, I mean, I think that's a really topical and very good question. And obviously, you know, particularly with some of the concerns around things like Chat GPT at the moment. And what we are is we use something called explainable AI, or XAI for short. And what that means is, as it says on the tin, is that there's a rationale behind every decision that's made. So what this means in practice with the digital operator is that every decision is actually recorded in a log, and the log explains why that decision was made. So, you know, an example might be that, you know, the temperature outside is changing, and therefore the fan speed of a ventilation machine has been increased, you know, to reflect the fact that it's getting warmer outside. And you can literally go into the dashboard in the machine and or into a report in the machine and see that log of decisions that have been made.
So given we've obviously got AI making these really powerful decisions for us, where do you see that the role of people? Because sometimes people do perhaps have a degree of uncertainty and nervousness that AI will kind of take over the function. Where do you see that relationship between a platform like yourself
This
and
is
the AI?
interesting here, because the AI has taken over the function, and it is actually making these decisions, and it is actually giving those instructions directly back to the building management system, to change the way the HVAC is operating. So we've sort of crossed that boundary. But actually, all good organisations work as a team. In the case of, if you think about the way that facilities management operates in a more general sense, you need a team. You need the on-site team. You need the technical experts, including the sorts of people that we've got in our headquarters. But we always think that the client team on the ground, who are, if you like, become better equipped and enabled because they can access the resources that the digital operator provide, that enables them to do their job better, and therefore they become the heroes of the show. So it's not about, in that sense, it's about the people actually being able to perform well, and to deliver a better outcome for them, so that they can spend time focusing on the things that really make a difference.
So I guess it's another positive story, which we hear quite a lot when we talk about AI, about actually complementing what people do and allowing them to do, as you say, things that people do better, and let AI do the jobs that AI can do really well.
Absolutely, yes.
And how about sort of from the perspective of, you know, if I can use the word, the ecosystem of prop tech, do you have any industry partnerships, given, as you say, you don't necessarily need to install any hardware, but are you working with other parts of the prop tech community to sort of enable this kind of technology?
Yes, we you know, we're involved with a lot of you know, industry bodies. So the UK Green Building Council, so we've been certainly a member of them, and you know, had discussions with them about this technology, and they've shared it amongst their members. We are members of the PropTech UK, and you know, quite a lot of other similar bodies, both here in the UK and across Europe. So if you think of the range of bodies that we've got in the UK, you know, and then you multiply that across every European country, then, you know, we're active in the equivalent bodies in pretty well every major European country now.
Indeed. And I guess, Trevor, you know, if there are kind of building managers out there listening, or, you know, listening to what we're talking about, well, I guess one of the questions often people have is that they will have made an investment to a degree already with sensors, with building management systems. Are you able to sit above the technology that's already been put into a building and still apply the value from the platform?
Absolutely. I mean, when we take a building onto the platform, we understand what sensors it offers and other technologies that it might have that are complementary. and they can then work well alongside what the digital operator is doing. So, for an example might be, understanding the air quality in a particular space, so that we can regulate the heating and ventilating equipment better. The other thing that I think is really interesting is the commercial arrangements that the customers have with their energy. So that seems like a bit of a slightly odd comment to make, but in Europe, it's quite common to have floating rate energy tariffs. So the energy prices change during the day quite rapidly and quite abruptly. So sometimes energy is very cheap and other times it's very expensive. And the beauty with this solution is that by always looking ahead, which is our mantra, that we're always looking at the data as to what's going to happen in the future, we can plan to use energy to heat or cool the building when it's cheapest, and we can avoid spending money on energy when it's expensive, or at least minimize the expenditure when it's expensive. So that helps to maximize the energy and CO2 savings that we make.
Indeed, no, and I suppose there is so much focus now on this area in terms of not only just, as you say, energy costs, but air quality, all the kind of things that I think to a large extent have also been driven by the changing use of real estate and the post-pandemic world we find ourselves in. What does the future hold for your platform? What other things will you be looking at, or indeed you're being asked for by the your clients out there?
Well, one of the things that I'm keen to do, which we are just have been doing for a little while now in our home market, is that we have the ability to offer a demand response service as part of what the digital operator does, and that involves helping to balance the energy grid when there isn't enough energy, or there's likely to be a shortage of energy in the grid. And the beauty of doing it using our technology is that our customers will know that even though they're participating in that, the AI will always make sure that the internal climate conditions inside the building are being maintained, even though we will be minimizing the use of energy at the same time. So their parameters will be met, but we can still earn money. And as I say, as a former surveyor, being able to actually earn another income stream from the building is great.
And I suppose leading on from that question, I appreciate you're very much focused on the kind of UK market with your particular role, but obviously with R8tech's view of Europe in the way it has, do you see any significant differences in the way people are approaching these challenges from country to country?
I think in terms of country level differences, I've seen a huge embrace of it, as I say, in the home market in Estonia. And then it does feel that there's less, perhaps as you move away from that, there is perhaps a bit less enthusiasm for the adoption. But again, it is down to perhaps awareness of the availability of the technology, and people having seen it. So, part of my mission obviously is to provide some education and perspective on it, to help people to consider whether it's appropriate for them to use.
Indeed. Well, I mean, it seems to be that, with the pressure on energy efficiency and cost, and as I say, the kind of hybrid working and the way people are looking at workplaces now, these platforms I think are becoming increasingly important. And I think it's great to have this message about the positive nature of AI, and the fact that, as you say, this AI is explainable, you can interpret what it's doing, and it's merely freeing people up for higher value tasks. So for today, Trevor, thanks ever so much for taking the time out of your day to chat, and it's been fascinating, and look forward to hearing more about R8tech in the future.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Andrew. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
Cheerio.